We are with Terry Michaels here at SOE Live 2014 in Las Vegas. We're going to talk about EverQuest Next.
Yeah, one of my favorite topics.
His favorite topic, our favorite topic. You guys have been kind of quiet since last year's SOE. I'm assuming that's for a reason.
Well, I mean, we haven't been talking about it specifically, but in the keynotes, if you've seen that, or when you see that, you're going to see that we've been building EverQuest Next this entire time with the players inside of Landmark. So we haven't been as quiet as people think about it. We just haven't been broadcasting like, oh, this is all about EverQuest Next.
Right. Because that's one of the big questions from fans is like, when are you going to be building Next? But you're doing that with Landmark. Players are actually helping you build Next right now.
Yeah, and we're building all of the systems we need for EverQuest Next inside of Landmark, and we're giving them to those players as soon as they're ready so that we can iterate on them, make them more powerful. It's a great thing.
It's awesome. So what you are talking about, though, at SOE Live is some of the new classes that are coming. So last year you debuted the Warrior and the Wizard.
Yeah.
This year, you said there's going to be up to 40 new classes, in the game when it comes out?
Yeah, we announced that last year, that there are actually going to be 40 or more classes at launch. And so this year, we're debuting 3 new classes, showing off what some of their abilities are, what their play styles are like, and what it's going to feel like to get in the game and play them.
So the 3 new ones are?
The Elementalist, the Tempest, and the Cleric.
Okay. So Cleric is a little bit more like a support class, but not completely support, because what you don't want the characters to be, you don't want the support to sit back and all they do is heal. Like, tell us how the Cleric in Next is so different.
Right. Well, that's one of the reasons we are actually debuting the Cleric at this SOE Live, is because people had a lot of questions about what support and the different kinds of roles were going to be like. So for us, what we want to make sure is that the support classes are engaged in the combat. Now, the Cleric may not be able to do the massive amount of damage in a short period of time that a Wizard could do, but they can bolster their allies, they can do damage themselves, and they can hinder the enemies, so that in a group, they're just as viable and just as important as any Wizard is. But we do want them to get in there and play the game. As you saw in the keynote when we showed off some of the abilities, the Cleric charges in there and does damage, knocks everybody down, puts up these fields that makes their enemies do less damage and their allies do more damage and things like that. So it's a lot of that kind of behavior.
Yeah. And the Tempest is really unique. Tell us, it was kind of like a lightning-ish druid. What is the idea behind the Tempest?
Well, it's the Tempest is all about movement. So the way the design team describes it is kind of like a druid assassin. Their job is to move around the battlefield and to pick off the weak characters, or in the case of like maybe the enemy group has a Cleric in it, and you really need to get rid of it so that you can take on the rest of the creatures better, right? So their job is to rush around, and destroy things very quickly. Yeah, so I love the visuals on that class. Yeah. It's just awesome looking to play it, and when you get your hands on it, it's even better.
I had a quick question. It looked like in a PvP type atmosphere, the Tempest might be very difficult to get a hold of and attack. Like, have you guys thought about that part yet? Or I guess with some of the classes, you might have like crowd control. You'll be able to stop them from lightning all over the place.
Well, yes, and that's the thing, is that different classes are going to have different abilities. The Wizard, for instance, has an ability that's like a stasis. It's an AE stun. So you see a Tempest coming at you, you AE stun, and all of a sudden now they can't get in there, right? And now they're stuck there while they're stunned for a couple of seconds. You can charge up your big attacks and destroy them. The Warrior has things that snares their opponents. That's going to limit the Tempest's ability to just rush around and do whatever they want. So there's a lot of opportunity from the different classes to deal with those kinds of scenarios.
And the last one of the 3, we had the Cleric, Tempest, and the
Elementalist.
Elementalist. A little bit about the Elementalist.
The Elementalist is it's a mage, a magic-using class that focuses on ice and fire and combining them to do things. And that's a really cool class because they can do things like they can put down this giant ice field or ice. I don't know what you want to call it.
Freeze the ground.
They freeze the ground and it turns it into ice, right? And then you can destroy that because our world has different toughnesses. So like if you have a substance that the Warrior can't break through, and then the Elementalist turns it into ice, now all of a sudden the Warrior can break through it. You can go down into the lower chambers, those kinds of things. But it's really about combining that fire and ice feeling. So it's a magic user along the lines of what most people are expecting.
And you guys are doing a lot of like combining classes. Like these 2 classes are going to work well together because of this reason. Like you want the classes to work well together.
Yeah, because of multi-classing and the ability for you to mix and match abilities from different classes, as well as we want there to be a reason for you to group with your friends and play the game. And so making classes that work well together is what it's all about. That's what makes it fun.
And lastly, let's talk a little bit about the companion book. You mentioned that briefly in the keynote.
Right. So Rosong, we've talked about it a few times. Rosong is the journal that tracks everything you've done in the world, and what it's really there for is to tell you what's going on in the world. You know, when you have a game where it's not about going and finding the quest hub with all the NPCs with exclamation points over the head or who want to give you a quest, you need ways to find out about things that are happening near you that are the kinds of things that you enjoy doing. So Rosong's going to remember all the things you've chosen to do and start to show you opportunities in the world. So if you like PvP and there's something going on nearby, it's going to point it out to you so that you can choose to do it if you want. And it's going to keep track of everything so you know what you've done.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's EverQuest Next. And remember, if you want to play EverQuest Next, start playing Landmark, because that you're helping build the game.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. That collaboration is incredible, and we've really enjoyed it so far, and it's only going to get better.
Thank you.